All right, folks, we've got a tough one today. This is the 5th video in my Mutant Genesis Heroic Roulette series, where we try to beat every Mutant Genesis scenario on heroic difficulty with a different hero from the corresponding wave. And Magneto, one of the hardest scenarios in the game, and we're playing it on heroic difficulty, so we've got a lot of work to do. We'll talk about kind of why this scenario is so hard and how we're going to try to approach things such that we give ourselves a chance. So for one thing, Magneto, stage 2, stage 3 deals us an extra encounter card. In addition to that, we start with this side scheme chain in play that prevents how much damage can be on him. Honestly, that's not really a big deal because of how hard we need to fight to answer other encounter cards, so damage is kind of an afterthought to Magneto. And if we don't get through this fast enough, then the main scheme 2 and 3 will start giving us extra encounter cards as well. So we need to thwart this for 3 to go to Sabotage Master Mold, thwart that for another 3 to go to here, thwart that for another 3 to remove Magneto's Steady. So, stunning and confusing, always one of the strongest things to do, but we're unable to do that until we've thwarted this for 9. So luckily we are playing Phoenix today, who matches up really well against Magneto for this reason, because starting on turn 1, she can thwart for 3, so we can move through this pretty quickly. And then on that main scheme, if we haven't defeated Sabotage Master Mold by the time we get to main scheme 2, we get an extra Sentinel minion. And then if we haven't flipped Physical Strain by the time we get to main scheme 3, we get an extra magnetic attachment. So we really want to get through this quick, not only because it saves us from those main schemes, but because it then allows us to stun and confuse Magneto effectively. Another reason Magneto's so hard is because these main schemes, there is 3 of them, but they have really low thresholds, 5, 6, and 7. Almost any time that he gets an extra chance to scheme, say we've gone to alter ego form, maybe he schemes once, or we've confused him, stopped him from scheming. If he draws an advance from the encounter deck, he'll probably complete whatever scheme we're on, just because their thresholds are so low. And in case it wasn't all hard enough, all the main schemes have this forced response where Magneto has the forced response. After he attacks, we put a magnet counter here, and then when there's 3 magnet counters here, we basically draw until we get a magnetic traded encounter card from the encounter deck. So heroic, we're already getting an extra encounter card per turn, but then every 3 magnet counters, we get an additional encounter card. And Magneto stage 2 and 3 give us an additional encounter card. And so the encounter cards really keep coming. And some scenarios that might not be so bad, but when we look at the encounter cards themselves, there's a lot of really tough ones. So some attachments that say he can't get stunned and confused, which is one of our big tools against him in the mid to late game. Magnetic Bubble is actually probably not so bad because we're not looking to do too much damage that early. 3 of this Master of Magnetism card we have to watch out for. It just gives him an extra activation with an extra boost card, assuming there's a magnetic card in the encounter discard pile. So if that extra activation is a scheme, almost certain to be advancing through the main scheme. If it's an attack, probably going to kill us if we don't have an ally block ready. And if it's an attack, we get an extra magnet counter. So all kinds of bad news there. This Metal Shards and Electromagnetic Blast are also kind of individually, we could play around them, but they really attack certain strategies in a way that's hard to account for. Metal Shards deals 1 damage to each character we have, so if we're saving some allies to block with, completely takes those out. Electromagnetic Blast exhausts all our upgrades and supports. So, we're trying to, throughout the game, build up upgrades and supports to kind of keep pace with the encounter deck. We draw one of these, we lose all of those for the turn, and that can be the start of the end for us. Electric Shock, always want to be aware of ways to take extra damage from the encounter deck that aren't tied to the villain attacking, which we can always block. So want to keep track of our life total because of that. Can't be too recklessly low even if we have blocks available. The best things in general that we can draw are these minions, so the M-type Sentinels as well as the Acolytes. As far as minions go, they're on the rougher end, but they don't kill us on the spot, and we can get to our turn and see what the best way to deal with them is. We have a little more options when it comes to how we deal with minions, because we can let them live for a little bit longer, or we can just take them out if they're going to be too much of a problem. With Phoenix in specific, we have Mind Control, which is an extremely powerful card. When we Mind Control an M-type Sentinel, that is sort of a game-swinging thing to help us really increase our chances of winning. These side schemes are Seized is a rough one, because when defeated, Magneto activates against us again. And that acceleration icon, really important when our main scheme thresholds are so low. Magnetic Mayhem, it can be a really nice one to draw, because we might not necessarily put any more magnet counters on the main scheme when we finish it, but it could represent, we might mill 2 or 3 and then suddenly get attacked in the middle of our turn from Magneto. Magnetically Sealed is another kind of situational one where if we draw this with only like one ally in play, it's really not that bad. But if we've got 3 or even 2, that's a lot of thwarting to get through, and stops us from keeping the main scheme under control while it's out. So lots of tough ones. Standard 1 for now. If we did standard 3, we basically need to just never draw a Shadow of the Past to keep our chance of winning, because Dark Phoenix is Phoenix's nemesis, and she's in 12 health with tough, and when she schemes, it's a second kind of scheme. I'll just pull it out right here. Right, she's a 12 health tough minion, and then she schemes onto basically a second scheme where if it gets a high enough threat, we lose the game. So really tough if we draw that. With standard 3, as I was kind of saying, with standard 3, it's inevitable that we eventually get her. But with Shadow of the Past, we have the opportunity to, miss it the first time or two through the deck. So there we have it, Magneto. I'll probably, it might take me a few videos to pull out a win against him, so I might refer you back here in future videos to get the lay of the land on this scenario. But that's what we're up against, and let's take a look at the deck. So looking at Phoenix's deck, we're really going to try to lean into the thing that Phoenix is really good at, which is involving these psionic cards. So of course she's got these 6 psionic events that are really strong, as well as some of her upgrades as well, such as Mind Control and the Telekinetic Shield. So we're playing 3 copies of Power of the Mind, which generates 2 resources for each of those. And kind of for that same reason, we're playing a bunch of psionic allies, so Legion, Blindfold, Marvel Girl, Professor X. These are all psionic. Along with Scimitar, kind of all working together to make sure that when we draw this Power of the Mind, they can go to use. And in a heroic game, whenever we can play more resource doublers, that generates a lot of value for us over the course of the game. So in addition to those psionic X-Men, we've got a handful of other X-Men, Angel, Triage, and I guess Cyclops is a signature ally, but I want a high X-Men count for playing Utopia. Team building exercise works with both the psionic and the X-Men traits to be a really good resource generator for Phoenix. Cerebro, Phoenix being a psionic character, Cerebro is just an incredibly strong card. The other thing I really love about Phoenix is that she starts the game with a thwart of 3, which lets her finish either build support or superpower training in just 1 activation. So with build support, we can get any of these, Utopia, X-Bunker, team building exercise, all really good options. Probably X-Bunker being probably the top, but Utopia Depending on the immediate turn, either one of those can be searchable. Or White Hot Room as well. White Hot Room can be very strong, maybe a bit later in the game once we've unleashed already or taken some damage. I also want to shout out to Superpower Training. The best target for this by far is going to be Mind Control. Mind Control, one of the most powerful cards, maybe in the game, but certainly in our deck here, against Magneto, where something like an M-type Sentinel is not only hard to kill on its own, but then becomes a really, really strong card for us as we take control of it. And all the Acolytes, same thing goes as well. So being a second copy of Mind Control in the deck is something really, really strong. Got two more allies here in Mockingbird and Vivian that are not X-Men, but I think they're both really strong for this scenario. Mockingbird, anytime that we can stun Magneto, is really good because he gets that magnet counter when he attacks. And then Vivian happens to be pretty good in this specific scenario. There's a side scheme that makes Magneto activate again when we defeat it, so that stops that. There's another side scheme that we'll put more magnet counters on. There's those Acolyte minions that like stun or confuse us when they're defeated. So lots of good uses for Vivian here. Chance Encounter, I'm just playing one of. It's good with these extra player side schemes. Acts as a second copy of, we've got a big toolbox of allies here that we can go grab with it. So the strategy is basically to, generally we're going to unleash as fast as possible because of how powerful these cards are. And then try to stay alive and put some damage on when we can. It's going to be a challenge, honestly. I'll be impressed just to see how long we can stay alive. Lots of different ways, the encounter deck can throw us for a loop, either by exhausting all of our supports and upgrades, or just having Magneto attack more times than we have allies to block. So we'll do our best. I am confident with sort of the strength of this deck, but going up against one of the maybe top 3 hardest scenarios in the game, we've got our work cut out for us. So let's see how this game goes. So the range of possible outcomes here is could be a turn 1 bloodbath, could be stalled out for a little bit, but then we eventually lose one way or another. A really hard scenario, as I've mentioned already. It'll be good to complete this cycle in the Mutant Genesis box, so we'll have 1 match played against each of the 5 scenarios, 4 of which were wins, which I'm definitely happy with that. See if we can steal one here against Magneto, or at least hopefully learn something and put ourselves in a better position to win eventually. We'll give it our best go. My strategy is going to be to unleash as soon as possible. And try to get superpower training or mind control on early turn is usually really crucial to surviving a decent amount of time. So let's see how we do. Okay, wow, really ally heavy opening hand. So I do want to keep Professor X. Professor X is really nice at helping us cut through the side scheme chain here at the start. Oh, and before I forget, let me deal myself 1 encounter card when Magneto Stage 2 is revealed. Allies are just good in general. If I draw a double resource card, I'll be able to pay 1 and then use a power counter and the doubler for... Oh no, Angel only costs 2. So I could play Legion in that case, or I could play Angel and Professor X. I'm really interested to see how Legion does. I haven't really, in my off-camera games, had a good game with Legion in it. So we might not end up playing him depending on what we draw. But let's keep these 3. Might end up just going Professor X and Angel. But if we draw a doubler, we can go for Legion. And there we go. So we do have an option of playing the White Hot Room instead of one of these allies. But the White Hot Room is not very good early when we haven't taken any damage yet. And we don't want to put extra power counters on to slow us down from unleashing. So we will flip over, pay 1, 2, 3, including Power of the Mind for Professor X, and confuse Magneto. Confuse won't take effect yet because he's still steady, but the confused card will still be on him. And then when we eventually flip to physical strain, Magneto will be stopped from his next scheme attempt. And then we'll use 1 power counter and 2 more resources to play Legion. So we'll do Professor X thwarting. Then Phoenix will thwart that. So this is in the victory display. And then we'll just have Legion thwart this main scheme for 1. And then do his response. So we got a mental, so we're going to remove 2 more threat from a scheme. So we might as well do this one since that's the only option. And we got Professor X ready to block. Legion can be an emergency block. All right, first turn is always one of the worst because of that extra encounter card. So if we make it past this, we'll probably get a decent video out of this. If not, we'll be sad. So Magneto comes in and attacks. Professor X block. Professor X dies. 1 magnet counter. Deal ourselves 2 more cards. And see what we got. Oh, wow. Oh, no, okay. I thought we were about to get really lucky, but this just has Surge if we can't discard anything. Okay, so Magneto will activate again. There's no magnetic card to give him in the discard pile. So this one I'm fine to just take for now. Keep Legion in play until we're about to die. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. And a second magnet counter. One of the ways this goes bad is if we get to that 3rd magnet counter on turn 1. Okay, that is a side scheme. And, well, Magneto cannot be confused, so we unfortunately have to remove that. But we at least get by with still only 2 magnet counters. So I'm looking at Utopia here. This is actually, okay, so this is, I think it's just Utopia and get rid of the helmet, since there's not much better to play. I suppose Vivian can block on a later turn, but, I mean, we want to confuse Magneto at some point, so we have a small window here to deal with that, so let's just do that. I can keep Vivian in hand, in fact. So I'm going to play 2 for Utopia. We'll do a basic attack against Magneto. So hits off the tough. Then we'll spend a wild as our energy, plus a physical and a mental to discard this. Yeah, I'll keep Vivian in hand, I think. Then with Legion, let's thwart that orbital decay. Then Legion's response is another mental, so we can remove 2 more from here. And as a FYI, you always do the consequential damage last. So if we get lucky and discard a fist next time, Legion would heal before taking that third damage. We'll probably just save him for a block now. Legion did a ton of work for us. So very happy with how that turned out. And then, flip down. The ideal case here is we advance this when there's 2 magnet counters on it, because it gets reset down to 1 when we reveal the next scheme. So flip down for the extra hand size and to not get attacked. Okay, chance for a really nice turn here. So 1 on the main, Magneto schemes for 1, 2, 6. So that puts us at 8, which advances. We do have Sabotage Master Mold in the victory display, so we don't need to do this. This comes in with 1 magnet counter. Now let's look at our 2 encounter cards. Magneto cannot be stunned. And, all right, this one where we need to spend a physical and exhaust to discard it. So, before I play Cerebro, I want to make sure we have something to get. I think there's 7 X-Men in the deck. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Triage is in hand for 5. So there's still Marvel Girl and Blindfold in the deck. Blindfold sounds nice. Well, either one of them will have 2 thwart, so that we can thwart that. Can I fit in a basic attack here to clear that? So play Cerebro, get the 3-cost ally, go 1, 2, 3 to play it. Use a mental to discard this, have 2 left over. So instead of playing a 3-cost ally, I can play a 2-cost ally and another one of these 2-cost cards. Right, 1 for Cerebro. Yeah, that would work out. So yeah, we're gonna play 2 of these 2-cost cards. So it could be Scimitar, just to continue developing. Allow us to be better able to kill a minion that comes out. We're also... There's a world where we hold on to this because we'll be able to unleash next turn, and it's such a good card when we do. I think I like the Scimitar the best. I'm gonna discard Vivian for Cerebro and activate. So Blindfold does have a fist resource, which is interesting. So the option here is oh shoot. Well, maybe should have kept Vivian as the mental. There was a world here where I spend 3 to clear this and just keep telepathic trickery in hand. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna get whoever I get here, I'm just gonna use as a resource. So I think I'm slightly less likely to want to play Marvel Girl. So I'm going to flip, exhaust, and spend a physical resource to discard this. Pay 2 for Triage, healing 2 from Legion. Spend Utopia to ready Phoenix. Yeah, this could have worked out to discard the armor here. I think I'm probably going to regret. Well, I wouldn't have been able to hold on to trickery, I guess. So I'll pay 2 for the scimitar. Let's have Phoenix thwart this for 2. So if I use Legion, yeah, it's still better just use it. If I discard a science, it's kind of a waste. But the fact that he sort of can heal up over the game, I just want to use him when we can. Or I could attack with him and then potentially remove this threat with if a mental is discarded. I think thwarting's too important. Thwart and discard a fist. Okay, so that's right. That was kind of a free thwart because we hit the mental, the physical. And I do want to save, well, this triage. Yeah, triage is going to have to block for us. So I might as well throw in a point of damage there. So maybe I should have just thwarted with triage and then attacked. Well, I don't know. Attacked because I can always thwart it with triage. Okay, so this could be a nice mind control turn. We haven't drawn any acolytes yet. Put 1 on, Magneto attacks, triage blocks. Magnet counter, 2 cards. All right, Magneto's going to activate again. So getting this, the topmost magnetic card, which will exhaust each ally we control, but it doesn't add any boost icons. Still, Magneto's coming in with 4 attacks, so I will need to block with Legion. There's the boost. Puts a 3rd magnet counter on, so we'll trigger the response. Okay, that's going to surge because we have no sentinels. Magneto schemes for 1/2. That's lucky there. And that might be the game. So we give the topmost magnet card. He is attacking for 4, so we do need to defend. And we need to see 0 or 1 boost icons. So here's 1 boost. And there we go. All right, this is this is the sort of luck that we need to even have a chance. So we end up, it ends up just being an attack for 4, so we defend it for 2 and take 2. And then with the boost ability on the M-type Sentinel, Magneto gets another face-down boost card, which will be triggered the next time, as well as the tough. And then we put another magnet counter on. So unfortunately, we didn't get anything good to mind control. We also don't have an X-Men to play that would allow us to trigger Utopia this turn. So we can't remove this. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty unexciting turn. So I can play X-Bunker. I mean, X-Bunker is a solid play right now. Build support. Do I have any good... My supports that I would usually get are X-Bunker and Utopia. I guess White Hot Room. White Hot Room would be a good one. Or I can take out the guards out there. So we're going to advance. I'm planning to advance to the main scheme 3 here. There's just no way we'll survive in hero form. Want to get to Alter Ego to use Cerebro and the X-Bunker here. So I will save this. There's no need to unleash immediately. I'll do these 2 for the X-Bunker. Flip down. So note that we do have a side scheme in the victory display, which is Sabotage Master Mold. Usually we play this card when we're using player side schemes, but for some scenarios, the scenario helps you out. Let's use that, so basically just draw a card. So I could use Cerebro here to get Marvel Girl, and then play one of those 3-cost X-Men. I could also save Marvel Girl because she's the last X-Men in the deck. I can draw her next turn. She's a psionic card, so Scimitar triggers. I think there's enough upside to keeping mind control in hand as well that I'm just going to play build support. Hang on to mind control and not use Cerebro. Okay, and we luckily did not draw Marvel Girl there, so we can search her up next turn. A threat here. Magneto schemes for 1, 2, 3, 4, and gets another boost and tough. So we advance. We don't do this. And then we get 1 here with 2 magnet counters. Hopefully Magneto doesn't scheme at us again. But here's 2 more cards. Alright, discard until we get an Acolyte. Or is it Acolyte or just a minion? Ah, it's just a minion. If you are not engaged with an Acolyte minion, discard cards until a minion is discarded, and then reveal it. So we've got M-type Sentinel. Okay, it's a good thing we're not in hero form, otherwise we would have just died. But we are confused, and we put 1 threat on the main scheme for each magnet counter on it, which is 2. Okay, So I did accidentally see what this top card was as I was discarding too far. So I'm going to shuffle because that would influence what I do here. Would have just been a boost card anyways, so I guess not. I don't know. I feel better shuffling there. All right, this might be a good window to play Under Surveillance as well. So we'll Cerebro first. What? Oh, I did draw Marvel Girl. My bad. Yeah, we're probably watching me and thinking I was crazy when I said I was gonna play her. So we'll do the X bunker, draw one card. So can I get away with a heal here? I would love to be ready, or if I heal, I suppose I can heal, I don't have to put a power counter on. Also, looking at what I want to play this turn, I don't need to be unleashed right now, so I can just, yeah, let's do that. We'll heal, or recover, put a power counter on, because it still lets us unleash by next turn, so. I know I said we want to unleash as fast as possible, but that's in anticipation of drawing those telepathic trickeries and stuff, which we haven't. Given that we're going to mind control this, we don't care about being unleashed for these psionic cards that we have this turn. All right, nothing more to do in Alter Ego. So I could pay 4 for mind control and then play a 2-cost card like Under Surveillance. Could also do like team building exercise into mind control. But I think Under Surveillance is going to be key right now. I've also got like I'm realizing I have no block set up. So maybe Rise from the Ashes is kind of interesting. Maybe I shouldn't have recovered. No. Because I don't want to mind control the Sentinel and then just have to block with it right away. That's a tricky one. Yeah, I might rewind and not recover. And I can play Telekinetic Blast and Rise from the Ashes. It feels bad because mind control is such a big value play, but value plays and then valued plays into dying aren't real value plays. Man, yeah, Magneto just does a little bit too much for you to ever leave every turn, cleaned up. Even I think we got pretty lucky there with the encounter cards we've drawn so far. So I'm kind of looking at right now, I'm kind of looking at mind control, but still just blocking with it right away. I think it's the best. It sucks to use up the Sentinel that quickly. But it's still the best value at defeating the Sentinel and providing us a block here. So here's 4 for the mind control. Pay 1, 2 for under surveillance. Let's check if everything's on camera still. Okay, good. When I play the mind control, scimitar for 2 damage here. And then with the M-type Sentinel's 1 activation, we'll thwart the main scheme for 2. Okay, that was the last card, so another rough turn potentially here with an extra encounter card. Yeah, and we're gonna get the magnet counter. All right, so yeah, this is how it goes. So Magneto attacks us, M-type Sentinel block. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It is defeating an ally, so we'll put an extra magnet counter there. So, okay, M-type Sentinel takes all the damage. So we get the extra magnet counter from where did that come from? Oh, from this being the boost. We trigger the response. I'm making this wait for it. So that's gonna surge. Exhaust each upgrade and support you control. Place 1 magnet counter on the main scheme. Then we remove the 3. Now we actually put the 1 on from Magneto having attacked us just now. 2 more encounter cards. Okay, hero form, we're stunned. We take 2 damage for 2 magnet counters. Minion and minion. Okay, so we actually survived that, but things don't really look up for us as we stare down these 2 minions. I actually wish I would have had... I can't really play superpower training out here, otherwise I'd be able to get mind control again for one of these guys. So is there any route I can remove my confuse, then telepathic trickery, build support, or the main scheme? Could get Marvel Girl to put 1 point in of damage in here, but while thwarting for 2. Or just blindfold to try to... Well, no, there's not even 5 cards to see there. All right, attempt to thwart, but remove confuse. put chance encounter here. So use one resource here, second resource. Oops, before I do that, play skilled investigator. One resource here, one resource here for telepathic trickery on build support. So what's the order of all this? First is the interrupt, where we'll look for an ally. So I'm going to have 3 resources in hand when this is done, so I can play any 3 cost. Cyclops is actually kind of interesting. And we are, when I removed that last one, we are unleashed now. Cyclops is interesting, Marvel Girl is interesting. Professor X won't really get to block, and we're about to confuse Magneto. I kind of like Cyclops actually. Gets us 2 more resources on the Phoenix Force. So that's interrupted. We finished build support, so we can get a support. I think White Hot Room is the only real option left. Oh, team building exercise. I like White Hot Room here. I mean, it just represents a resource, or healing. Team building exercise just represents a resource. Sorry, I'm all out of order here, but so with telepathic trickery, we stun and confuse Magneto. He can't be stunned still, but he is confused. And then lastly, with skilled investigator, we can draw a card. So now we've got 1, 2, 3 to play Cyclops. Get 2 more counters here. With Cyclops, we're just trying not to die here. So let's probably thwart for 2, because we're going to go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus a boost. Wait, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus a boost will be the total on there. So that alone won't finish the main scheme. So do I want to try to get in some damage somewhere? So this can either be at 6 plus a boost or 4 plus a boost. If it's at 4 plus a boost, then a Magneto scheme puts it at 6 plus 2 boosts, which won't necessarily be up to 11. I think we're just generally going to be worse at thwarting than at attacking from here on out, being unleashed. I'm going to... And it's so nice that we can hit Fabian in 2 chunks of 2, though. I'm going to get the main scheme. Flip down. I'll heal for 2. This is definitely up there with the longest games that I've survived against Magneto, so glad I'm getting this one on the camera. 1 threat here. Magneto confused. M-type Sentinel puts 2 on. Fabian does 1 plus a boost. Exhaust our identity. 2 cards that will reset the encounter deck. So let's see what I get as I shuffle. Okay. And that is a teamwork minion, so it will see Fabian in play and activate. Luckily, it is only one more threat here. Oh man, I didn't look at my hand, but if we've got a Psychic Blast here, we are absolutely cooking. So, okay, we know what under surveillance is. I'm gonna hide it under here. Get those attachments all up in a row. Okay, we did not have the Psychic Blast, because I think that's not even an attack. There's so much to do now. So now is a good time to get Professor X for another confusion, but do we want to get something a little better at tackling these minions? Well, I'm just going to use, I'll use Cerebro first. I mean, Triage just represents a lot of value right now. That's always good. Vivian can't make Fabian's text box go away, unfortunately. So it'd be nice to play a psionic character here to trigger the scimitar. So that could be, Legion might just be the best there. Anything Legion discards is good now. I'm gonna want to think, I think I want to send one of these telekinetic attacks at the M-type Sentinel. I think M-type Sentinel and Senyaka are who I'm gonna try to, I think that's who is in range to take out this round. So that would be 3 for that. Three for Professor X. 1, 2 left. So there's so many options now here. So it's Triage, Angel, Professor, Marvel Girl. Angel is just the most efficient damaging option that I can get. I wish I could get Vivian with that, because I think clearing Senyaka's text box would actually be really good this round. Man, it feels right so much of the time to get Professor X. Because I want someone who can block as well. So I guess Blindfold could do that. I think we'll just go Professor X. I guess it's probably right to X bunker first there. Well, I don't know. So now we'll X bunker. We're up to 2. Okay, mental paralysis is interesting for this particular situation. I don't know if I've ever actually played this card. Team building exercise, just another solid one. The mental paralysis will really only be out 1 turn because I want to keep flipping back and forth throughout the game. So I'm just going to get team building exercise. So does this all work out the way I want it to? 2 for exercise, 1, 2, 3 for Professor X, 1, 2, 3 for telekinetic attack. Does work out perfectly. I think I want to keep healing here. Pay 2 for team building exercise. Flip to hero. 1, 2, 3 for Professor X. Confuse the villain. Utopia to ready. Oh shoot, okay. I forgot that the scimitar thing is an actual attack, but that's actually better for me. So the response after playing Professor X now is a scimitar attack, which that actually removes the stun, which actually gives me 1 more damage than I thought I had. And then 1, 2, 3 for telekinetic attack on M-type Sentinel. So it's 9 with overkill. So we do the 5 and the 4 to Magneto simultaneously. The 4 goes on the bubble. Then from M-type Sentinel dying, Magneto gets tough. Now we've got an attack for 3 going into Senyaka. When defeated, we become stunned again. Professor X thwarts for 3. And Cyclops has to be ready for a block here, so kind of the same situation as last time, but now we have a little more cushion from the main scheme, so let's put 2 damage into Fabian. Well, this is basically like getting this far in this game makes me feel just as good as the wins in my other games on the channel. Okay. 1 threat on the main scheme. No, 2 threat on the main scheme. Magneto attacks for 4. Professor X block. Add a magnet counter, which makes 3. Trigger the response. So we have just Cyclops is the only other ally, so not the worst, I suppose. Now Fabian attacks us. This one I'm just going to take. Obviously, I'd rather save a block for a Magneto attack. So coming in for 1. Well, just 1. And yep, we have 2 encounter cards. No sentinels, so that surges. Shadow of the Past. All right, we dodged it for long enough. So what can we do now? Definitely want to get rid of that wrapped in metal. And then we can do telepathic trickery to finish this. Stunning and confusing Fabian. Don't think we're gonna have. All right, discard Mockingbird as the physical resource to discard you. So I'm 90% sure that blanking the text box would include this amplify icon. I mean, it's like in the text box. Oh no, but it has to be non-permanent side scheme, so never mind that. And of course we can't pick, if we pick a minion, it has to be a non-elite minion, so otherwise it would be crazy to just do that to Fabian. So in Alter Ego, Dark Phoenix would put 2 on here up to 8 plus a boost card, which automatically gets 1, so 9. So we'd have to draw a boost card of 3 to lose to that. Although those treacheries can add additional threat. Basically, the option is to telepathic trickery this or to telepathic trickery this. I'm not going to be doing any additional thwarting of the main scheme here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus a boost. It's kind of taking the same risk either way. Either this is 3 away or this is 3 away. So if I do this, I do just kind of give me an extra turn to figure it out. And we really get a lot worse at thwarting once we're unleashed. But it's like hard to constantly have everything covered. I'm gonna go here because next turn we'll absolutely need to thwart this. If this doesn't make it and we are able to like maybe defeat Phoenix next turn, we can just end up ignoring this. I don't know. There's no great route, sort of, and just have to take a gamble. This allows me. Oh, actually, yeah, this is definitely better because then I complete it, and I can draw off of Skilled Investigator. So action because we're about to play a psionic card. So 1, 2, for trickery on magnetically sealed. Stun and confuse Fabian. Skilled investigator to draw. Scimitar attack to remove the stun. Flip down. Let's X bunker first this time. So look at 2. Oh, all right. And then I'll save a shuffle and do Cerebro. So 3 options. I can play take out the guards and 1 2-cost card. Yeah, I think I like playing triage here. Or Marvel Girl attacking Dark Phoenix and removing, that's just a good value. Lets us play all our cards. Save triage for next turn, yeah. So just get this out there. And pay 3 for Marvel Girl, who will attack Dark Phoenix. So hits the tough and then removes threat equal to the scheme from the main scheme. You know what, now that I'm doing that, maybe I'm just supposed to thwart consume the world for 2. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to do that actually. Because that can make me lose the game on the spot. Could be like a playing not to die as opposed to playing for the win scenario. But I can live with it. And then I'm at pretty decent health now. Let's put a power counter on. Save Cyclops for a block maybe next turn. Okay, we did not draw Angel, so Angel is still a good hit for Cerebro if we survive. Put 2 on here, up to 6. Magneto is confused. Fabian is confused. Dark Phoenix thwarts for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which all goes on Consume the World. Now we get 2 encounter cards. All right, resolve the when defeated of each Acolyte minion engaged with you. So we'll discard until we get another Acolyte. And that Acolyte will activate thanks to teamwork, whatever we get. So that'll be a scheme for 2. And then we are confused. Place 1 threat on the main scheme for each magnet counter on it, which is currently 0. assuming I didn't forget to put one on there at some point. So that actually wasn't that bad. And we're still alive, which is what we're trying to do. So let's Cerebro to get Angel out of there. These are only 2 cards, so we'll X Bunker for one of them. Probably Power of the Mind, I assume. Well, don't really have 2 psionic cards to play. I mean, Mental Paralysis could be legit here. Sure. Okay. This could, we could do a lot of work here. Got to keep an eye on the main scheme. It is at 8, only 3 away. Trying to think how to optimize this Psychic Blast. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So, okay, White Hot Room. Let's heal again. I think we're more limited by cards than resources for this turn. So I might not even use these. Go to, and it's funny how I mean, it feels like we've done a ton of work this game. We've done only 1 damage to Magneto. So I'm going to attempt to thwart and lose my Confuse. I'm going to pay 2 for Triage. Healing 2 from Cyclops. Utopia to ready Phoenix. Marvel Girl, attack Dark Phoenix, which will also remove 2 threat from the main scheme. Cyclops will finish off Fabian. Oh, so this minion that comes in, okay. The minion that comes in is going to activate right away, but we're at a decent amount of health. So that's gonna teamwork when it comes in and attack for 2. I guess I should have used, yeah, could have used the team building exercise when I played Triage there. So Power of the Mind for Psychic Blast. 4 damage to the villain and to each minion engaged with you. So unfortunately for Magneto, it just hits the tough. But far more importantly, we do 4 to all of these minions. Scimitar will do 2 and finish off Delgado. Yeah, we never... Yeah. Triage will do 1 more to Amelia, which confuses me. So funnily enough, I can finish Dark Phoenix here. I can attack, play Angel, and ready with the Firebird to attack again. I guess that's actually the best, isn't it? I kind of waste an ally, but attack for 3. Pay 1, 2 for Angel. I didn't even realize this. All of our allies are X-Men, so we have 1 extra ally spot. Angel attacks Dark Phoenix for 2. So this is making me wish I had put an extra power counter here. Phoenix Firebird to remove 1 power counter and ready Phoenix and do the final 3 damage to Dark Phoenix. Oh boy, this is, I don't want to get too optimistic here, but this is, we're kind of going crazy here. All right, it's going to be another extra encounter card turn. Two threat here. Puts us to 8. So I mean, in advance we do lose. So maybe I could have. Probably was a space in there to keep a minion alive and throw an extra thwart at the main scheme. I don't know. Okay. But anyways, Magneto attacks. Let's do a triage block. Magnet counter. 2 more cards. M-type Sentinel. Magneto attacks again. Topmost magnetic card is this. So if we weren't already blocking, we're definitely blocking that. Let's have Marvel Girl because she's on her last health. Exhaust our identity. Another magnet counter. And oh, what a way to go. Oh man. So that's going to put 4 on Consume the World, in addition to take out the guards. But Consume the World gets to 12, and that makes us lose. Ugh. They gave me hope. They gave me hope. I mean, I'm thrilled with even how far we got here. We definitely, I mean, we got lucky early. I won't deny that. You know, we didn't draw Shadow of the Past the first time through the deck. Some low boost icon cards that kept us alive. Yeah, I'll be curious to rewatch this and see how I could have managed the threat. I always just sort of, the instinct is right to just clean up the board, kill those minions, because the teamwork minions, you know, get extra activations. But at the end of the day, like, we had enough health to soak up, so I should have been more concerned with the main scheme there. Well, wow. Okay. Thanks for watching. I'll definitely be trying again against Magneto in the future, but it's not very often we get a game like this. So I might just run it back with the same list, given how that went. We might mix it up, might bring in some different heroes. But for now, we'll move on to a different box. If you didn't catch the first 4 scenarios in Mutant Genesis, you can go ahead and check those out. We did have some victories among those games that I'm very proud of, and proud of this game as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.